don't need all that water.
County emergency.
Wally, thanks. I got your text.
Sorry about that. I didn't know if you had you been alerted, John? No. Yeah, no.
Somebody's trying to sell me something.
Well, we met over the lane, so we might have
Yeah, so
Good.
Hi there, I'm Trisha Thompson with IDOT. I'm the operations.
All right, Mr. Chairman.
sure, let's do it. We've been having some flooding in this area, and I just wanted to welcome Governor Rauner today to thank him for coming and for his support. Please welcome Governor Rauner.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thanks. Good afternoon, everyone. We wanted to come over to spread the word that the Rock River is going to tie the record flooding, the flood stage of 2013. It's going to crest in the next 24 hours or so. And we want to get the message out on several fronts. First, if necessary, we have to call for evacuations of any neighborhoods or any communities. Please, to all the residents, please honor the requests. We can't force you to leave your home, but please, for your own safety, if we recommend evacuation, please honor the request. We want to make sure that everybody's safe first and foremost. The second request is please do not drive or walk in any flooded area. It can be very dangerous. Even though it doesn't look deep, it might be actually deeper than it seems. Also, water that looks quiet may actually be moving, and it can sweep you off your feet. It can also sweep your vehicle off sideways, and we want to keep everybody safe. So please do not drive, do not walk, do not enter flooded areas, and honor any evacuation requests. Then most importantly, I want to thank our first responders. We have phenomenal first responders. I want to thank our police officers, our firefighters, our emergency management personnel, all our first responders here across Northwest Illinois. You've done a phenomenal job. We owe you an incredible debt of gratitude for your service. I want to thank you. I'd also like to thank all the volunteers. We've already had many volunteers, many neighbors coming out to help each other, helping with sandbagging, helping with getting signs out, etc. That's what makes Illinois such a wonderful place, is the way our families come together to help each other and volunteer. And we've had folks come from, some distance to help out. We're going to be monitoring the situation very closely. Obviously, the heavy rain started Friday and Saturday, and the rivers are responding accordingly. From reports I received, we were monitoring this starting Friday. There's 8 inches of rain fell in some of the communities. 8 inches of rain is extraordinary amount of water. The state began getting requests for sandbags on Friday night. We got those shipped out Friday night and Saturday. And now we anticipate we're just starting to get more requests for additional sandbags and more signage and equipment. So to be proactive about it, we are formally declaring a disaster area for 8 counties. We are declaring disaster area for 8 counties so we can be quick and with equipment and sandbags and personnel as needed, so we can proactively get in front of this, because the river, again, will be rising to record stages in the coming day or two. I'll read those counties to you: Carroll County, Henry County, Joe Davies County, Lee County, Rock Island County, Ogle County, Stevenson and Whiteside. Stevenson and Whiteside. So Northwest Illinois basically has gotten socked, and we've got to make sure that we can respond, and as the communities need resources, that the state is there to make sure that we're helping. With that, I will turn it over to Illinois Emergency Management Agency Director James Joseph. James.
Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon. James Joseph, Director of the Illinois Emergency Management Agency. Just want to echo what the Governor said. There is large amounts of water that have fallen in the Northwest Illinois area, and we're anticipating the projections at this point from the National Weather Service and other partners is that the Rock River will crest at or near record levels at multiple parts of the Rock River, and that'll bring a lot of impact to the communities here. We do know that in parts of Northwest Illinois, some people have proactively left their homes because of rising water and because of the inability to access roadways in and around their neighborhood. Fortunately, we haven't had to open any shelters yet. What we find often throughout Illinois is that the community really comes together. So family and friends have been taking in their neighbors where they've had to leave their homes, but we will provide any resource that's necessary from a sheltering perspective or whatever resource any community needs in response and recovery to this event. We're in very, very close contact with all of our counties, all the counties that the governor mentioned, plus some in these areas as well, to ensure that they have every support that they have. And my thanks to partners like the Illinois Department of Transportation, the Illinois State Police. It's really a team effort from the state of Illinois to ensure that we're receiving requests and providing resources to these communities. We're going to continue to do so throughout the response and throughout the recovery phase of this event as well. If there's any questions that you have, we'd love to take those from you at this time.
Any
For
questions?
Governor Rauner?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now that you have called a special session, what's the use of calling a special session if the lawmakers don't have a bill with your veto on it to work on?
Well, so let's, I'll talk about off topics. I just want to make sure. Any questions about the flooding, the emergency, the declaration? If we don't have any there, then everybody good? Okay. So your question. The point of calling a special session is Speaker Madigan's majority in the General Assembly passed school funding bill in May, but they're sitting on it. They've done nothing with it. They need to get it to my desk so I can act on it. The concern is they want to wait to send it to my desk until mid-August when schools need to be open. They need their money. They want to create a crisis to force passage of that bill in its current form, and that bill is unfair to the children across the state who are in struggling communities, and it's unfair to taxpayers. It diverts a significant amount of money, hundreds of millions of dollars, from Rock Island and from Moline and Rockford and all over the state, takes money from suburbs and downstate and sends it to a payment for Chicago pensions. That's not fair. It's not right. Money should go in the classroom where it belongs. It shouldn't be diverted to a pension payment for Chicago. It's not fair. And so my plan is to mandatory veto that bill, take out the pension payment part, leave the rest of the education funding and funding formula, and make sure schools open on time. So we're saying to the General Assembly, get that bill on my desk, come to Springfield, do your job, come with me back home to Springfield. Let's get school funding done. Let's make sure our schools open on time with the proper amount of funding. With my mandatory veto to the SB 1 bill, I'll give you two examples. Rock Island schools will get $1.1 million more every year. Rather than that, $1.1 million shouldn't be going to Chicago pension. It should be staying with our teachers and our children here in Rock Island. Same thing for Moline. Moline, I believe the number is about $900,000 for Moline schools. That money should stay every year here in Moline with the teachers and the children here, rather than going to Chicago pension. And this is important. It's a fundamental issue of fairness. We have struggling students who are disadvantaged and struggling to make ends meet in Chicago, but we also have them here in the Quad Cities. We have them in Rockford, in Decatur, in Danville. We have to treat all students equitably and not put one district ahead of other districts.
And quick follow-up, could I ask where those numbers come from? Just because I've talked to superintendents in this area who are under different impression about the money that would come to their districts under SB 1.
Yeah, so everybody can come if they have any questions. They should come to illinois.gov /school district funding, and they can look up the calculations. Many superintendents are very afraid that they won't get any money from the General Assembly. Prior to my becoming governor, the General Assembly under Speaker Madigan cut state support for schools 4 times in the prior 10 years, put us all on proration, so that families here in Quad Cities were hurt by that. I said no more cutting state support for schools. Let's treat our children as the top priority. I demanded and got more money every year for schools, and now I want to make sure with the new funding formula and the new budget that Speaker Madigan put in place that the money goes to the classroom and doesn't get diverted.
So would you say then that the purpose of the special session is to put pressure on lawmakers to send you the bill, or should they actually get some work done on that bill?
Well, schools need to open in just a few weeks, and they're sitting on a funding bill. And unless that bill becomes law, schools won't open. They want to create a crisis. They want teachers upset. They want parents questioning, my child needs to go to school. And what really makes me sad, it breaks my heart, the political games that the speaker seems to want to play with our children. You know, we've got struggling families trying to make ends meet, and they expect their school to open August 10th or August 12th. And no child in Illinois should lose a single day of school because of some political games coming from Chicago. Our schools should open on time with the proper amount of money. And we've got to think about the families, put our children first, think about the struggling families. They just got socked with a massive tax hike over my veto that raises their cost of living, shrinks the paychecks for the families. It puts them at even more disadvantage as they try to take care of their children. And now the same process is being used to threaten that the schools don't open. There is no legitimate reason for that funding bill not to already be on my desk. They've waited 6 weeks and they still haven't sent it to my desk. Why? They want to create a crisis here in the Quad Cities and around the state to try to force the pension bailout. And that's not fair. That's not right for our children.
So, Governor, would you say that removal of the additional pension payments would make it a more agreeable bill to you?
Yes. I'm saying let me take out that pension bailout. We'll deal with pensions. Pensions need to be reformed. And Chicago needs to be able to get some help with its pensions. I support that. But that's separate from our school funding. Pensions are a different issue. School funding needs to be equitable and fair. When I remove, with my veto, my mandatory veto, remove the pension bailout language, the rest of the bill will be fine, and I hope the General Assembly would pass it so schools can open on time with the right amount of money.
So you're only holding this pension portion?
Yes, that's right. Any other questions? Great. Well, thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Governor.
Deb, I want to introduce you to some of the other IDOT folks that are here. Just to say thanks before we go. A lot of the guys are obviously out on the street.